So let's continue with the word of the Most High by Shama Mashiach Yahushai. This is pretty deep, you know. It's a lot to look at and consider in changing our ways. Like you have to become a new creature, be born again, become that new man or that new woman. This is how you do it. This is how you have examples of what he say concerning the way of life and how people live and how people should be thinking about what they need to do to see salvation. See the salvation, powers and authority that's coming to the children of Israel. Let's look at 1 Timothy 5. 1 Timothy 5 and 17. 1 Timothy 5 and 17. 1 Timothy 5:17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor. The elders, and the elders are those that are 51 years old and over. Because the ministry is from 30, as Mashiach Yahushua was 30 years old, to 50. And once you're 51 years old, you become an elder. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. Those that are laboring in the word and doctrine, let them be counted and worthy of double honor. It says, for the scripture says, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. So those that labor in the word and the doctrine, he said the laborer laboring in that is worthy of his reward, it says. Again, against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. So you're not supposed to bring accusation against an elder without 2 or 3 witnesses, it says. Them that sin rebuke before all, that others also may fear. Those that sin say rebuke before all, that others also may fear. So these are the things we're looking at and how we're supposed to deal with each other. Ecclesiasticus 32 and 17. Ecclesiasticus 32 and 17 in the Apocrypha. A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. See, a simple man not going to be reproved, but he's going to find an excuse according to his will, not according to thus say the Most High. Because if you are thoroughly believing what you're dealing with and your beliefs and your actions, then you should be able to go to the word of the Most High and back whatever it is that you're dealing with up. But a simple man, you can't reprove him. And you're going to find the excuse according to his own mind, what he thinking. You know, Ecclesiasticus 3:24, one of my favorites, says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion is overthrown the judgment. So you let Satan come in and give you the wrong judgment. Look at St. John, the 12th chapter. St. John, the 12th chapter. So we covered a lot in this lesson pertaining to how we should be. Listen at this. St. John 12:1. Then the Mashiach 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. And once he raised Lazarus from the dead, they really plotted to kill him. There they made him a supper, and Martha served. But Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. And Lazarus was raised from the dead. He had been dead 4 days before Mashiach raised him up. So, the Pharisees was like, we got to get rid of this man because many followed him. Listen. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Mashiach and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. She had to have some long hair. Have her hair there and wiping his feet. Put this ointment on his feet and wiping it with her hair. Most likely took away daughters of Zion's hair. So the long hair was baldness. It tells you in Isaiah the 3rd chapter. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Then said one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him, why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? So why do you sell this ointment for 300 pence and give it to the poor? This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bear what was put therein. Then said to Mashiach, let her alone. Leave her alone, man. Against the day of my burying hath she kept this. Very expensive ointment. She's anointing him with something she could have sold and got a lot of money for. This oil. He said, let her alone. Against the day of my burying hath she kept this. She kept this for the day that she would anoint him. For the day that he would be put to death. This 6 days prior, mind you. For the poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. He said, you don't have me always. So, but you had the poor with you always. But you see how she had this ointment that was very expensive ointment, and she saved it for the time that she would anoint a Mashiach Yahushua for his burial. Most people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there, and they came not for Mashiach Yahushua's sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he had raised from the dead. See, that's how people are, man. He was raised from the dead. The one that done it, Son of the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua, our anointed Savior, they ain't only come to see him, they want to see Lazarus. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it till I see it. But the chief priest consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death. They don't want to put Mashiach Yahushua to death, so we're going to put Lazarus to death too. Because that by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on the Mashiach Yahushua. See, that's what they were afraid of. Losing their power with the Romans. So afraid. And that's all like some of you are. You act like the people belong to you. We Mashiach. We belong to Mashiach. I tell you that in 1 Corinthians 3:23. So you are Mashiach. And Mashiach is the Most High. That's just the way it is. From there, let's look at Matthew 17. Matthew 17, the 17th chapter. verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, does not your master pay tribute? Does not your master pay tribute money? He said, yes. And when he was come into the house, Mashiach prevented him, saying, hey, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth lose custom or take custom or tribute? So he said, whom do the kings of the earth get money from? Do they take custom or tribute? Of their own people or of strangers? So they take it of their own people or of strangers? Peter said unto him, of strangers. Mashiach said unto him, then are the children free. He said, notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, and cast in hook, and take up the fish that first cometh up. Fish that first cometh up, take a hook, go out there, he was a fisherman, go out there, and the first fish that come up, and when thou hast opened his mouth, and you open his fish mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. A piece of money, he said. That take and give unto them for me and thee. So you're going to find a piece of money in that fish mouth. He said, that take for Mashiach, Yahushua, and Peter. So they had money. He had a tribute money. He had to have money to be able to pay what it is that was owed to Caesar. So 2 Chronicles 24. 2 Chronicles 24. The 24th chapter. And let's start at verse 4. I'm going to concentrate on verse 5 though. And it came to pass after this that Joash was minded to repair the house of the Most High. So Joash reminded to repair the house of the Most High. And he gathered together the priests and the Levites and said to them, go out unto the cities of Judah. Go out to the cities of Judah. So he gathered the priests and the Levites and told them to go out to the cities of Judah and gather of all Israel money. He would have said, gather of all Israel money to repair the house of your power from year to year, and see that ye hasten the matter, albeit the Levites hastened it not. They ain't trying to go fast. And he said, hey, make sure you go out there and do this quickly. But he said, go where? To the cities of Judah and gather of all Israel money to repair the house of your power from year to year. Verse 6, and the king called for Jehoiada, the chief. Well, let's start up verse 1. Joash, verse 1, was 7 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebiah of Beersheba. So he reigned for 40 years. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of the Most High all the days of Joiada the priest. So Joiada was the priest. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Most High, keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. And Joiada took for him 2 wives. So Joiada the priest took for himself 2 wives. And he begot sons and daughters by these 2 wives. So jumping to verse 6, and the king called for Joiada the chief. Joiada the priest is the chief, and said unto him, why hast thou not required of the Levites to bring in out of Judah and out of Jerusalem the collection or the money, according to the commandment of Moses, the servant of the Most High? According to the commandment of Moses, the servant of the Most High. You're going all the way back to commandments of Moses that the Most High gave to Moses and of the congregation of Israel for the tabernacle of wisdom. You see? So these are the things that we have to consider that we always done. How are you going to accomplish something or build something without capital, without money? You can't do anything. Look at Numbers, what he's told him about Numbers 1 and 50. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle, and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister into it, and shall encamp round about the tabernacle. See? So that was their job. Acts the 7th chapter gives us a kind of like a guideline of our story. Look at it gives us an addition of how we what we did. Look at Acts 7 and 44. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he had appointed, speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen. See? So going back to 2 Chronicles 24, in verse 6 again, it said, and the king called for Jehoiada the chief, and said unto him, why hast thou not required of the Levites to bring in out of Judah and out of Jerusalem the collection, which is the money, according to the commandment of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and of the congregation of Israel for the tabernacle of witness? For the sons of Athaliah, that wicked woman, had broken up the house of the Most High, and also all the dedicated things of the house of the Most High did they bestow unto Baalim. Wickedness. And at the king's commandment, they made a chest and set it without at the gate of the house of the Most High, and they made a proclamation to Judah and Jerusalem to bring in to the Most High the collection, which is the money that Moses, the servant of the Most High, laid upon Israel in the wilderness. And all the princes and all the people rejoiced, and brought in and cast into the chest until they had made an end. Now it came to pass that at what time the chest was brought unto the king's office by the hand of the Levites, and when they saw that there was much money, hear that? When they saw there was much money, so we had money to give, the king's scribe and the high priest officer came and emptied the chest, and took it, and carried it to his place again. Thus they did day by day, and gathered money in abundance. And gathered money in abundance. There ain't no sheep and no cattle or no crops. This is money in abundance. And the king and Jehoiada the priest gave it to such as did the work of the service of the house of the Most High, paid them, and hired masons and carpenters to repair the house of the Most High, paid them with money. And also such as wrought iron and brass to mend the house of the Most High, paid them also with money. So the workmen wrought, and the work was perfected by them. And they set the house of the Most High in its state, and strengthened it. And when they had finished it, they brought the rest of the money, all those that say money is not needed, before the king and Jehoiada, whereof were made vessels for the house of the Most High, even vessels to minister and to offer withal, and spoons and vessels of gold and silver. And they offered burnt offerings in the house of the Most High continually all the days of Jehoiada. But Jehoiada waxed old and was full of days when he died. 130 years old was he when he died. And they buried him in the city of David among the kings, because he had done good in Israel. So what he done was good in Israel, both toward the Most High and toward his house. This what the word of the Most High said. See, he was a priest that had 2 wives, and he done what? Good in Israel, both toward the Most High and toward his house. Now after the death of Jehoiada came the princes of Judah and made obeisance to the king, and the king hearkened unto them. And they left the house of the Most High power of their fathers and served groves and idols, and wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for this their trespass. See, we went from one righteous king and priest to wicked, and the wrath of the Most High came upon us for not doing what he said do. Understand this, because a lot of you have this ill consumption that certain things that you have come up with to suit your ability of thinking, as it's small as it is, and thinking this is right and that's wrong, and judging what the Most High is calling okay or good. Isaiah 66 and 1. Thus said the Most High, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? He said, hey, what house you gonna build to me, really? And where the place of my rest? For all those things have mine hand made, and all those things have been, said the Most High. But at this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. You tremble at his word because you fear the Most High. That's what we look at. See? But see, Israel don't consider. That's why, look at Acts. Go to the book of Acts, the 7th chapter. Verse 48. Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me? He said the Most High, or what is the place of my rest? Has not my hand made all these things? That's what he's saying. He said the heaven of heavens can't contain him. That's our power. Look at Nehemiah. Nehemiah 13 and 7. Nehemiah 13 and 7. Nehemiah 13 and 7. And I came to Jerusalem and understood of the evil that Eliashim did for Tobiah, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of the Most High. And it grieved me sore. Therefore I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber, threw it all out. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chambers, and thither brought I again the vessels of the house of the Most High, with the meat offering and the frankincense. And I perceived that the portion of the Levites had not been given them, For the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every one to his field. They had got away from this wicked sucker. It said, then contended I with the rulers and said, this is Nehemiah. Why is the house of the Most High forsaken? Why is the house of the Most High forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. So I got them straight. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil unto the treasuries. And I made treasurers over the treasuries, Shelemiah the priest, and Zodok the scribe, and of the Levites, Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan the son of Zachor, the son of Mathaniah, for they were counted faithful, and their office was to distribute unto their brethren. Get that? Their office was to distribute unto their brethren. Remember me, O my power, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my power, and for the offices thereof. See? He couldn't do it without standing up to him and telling him this is what you're going to have to do. See? Very important. And that's in the Persian Mede Empire. Ecclesiasticus 17:22. Ecclesiasticus 17 and 22. The alms of a man is a signet with him, and he will keep the good deeds of man as the apple of the eye, and give repentance to his sons and daughters. See, the alms of a man is a signet with him. You like they have a signet, a stamp that the king would sign, or you see they have that the notary publics in the whatever state you're in, have the seal of your state, they stamp it on a piece of paper is legitimate, makes it legitimate. You say alms of a man is a signet with him, and he will keep the good deeds of man as the apple of the eye, and give repentance to his sons and daughters. You're going to help your sons and daughters while you're doing what's right. Go to Matthew the 10th chapter, in the first verse. Matthew 10, we're going to read Matthew 10, 1 to 5. Just Matthew 10 and 1. Matthew 10 and 1. When he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power. This is spiritual power against unclean spirits. So he gave them spiritual power. When you see power, that's spiritual power against unclean spirits, to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now, let's jump to verse 5. These 12, these are the 12 disciples, Mashekabashai sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. You tell them, don't go to northern Israel, and don't go to any city of the Gentiles. Don't go to the Gentiles, these other nations, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He said, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They couldn't even go to the scattered of Israel at this time. That's what he's telling them also. They were Gentiles. That's why when you see the writings of Paul, he's talking to the Israelites that were actually operating as Gentiles. Because when you understand our story, you had them calling themselves Greeks. Because it was against the law. You were put to death if you called yourself an Israelite. You know, and the Ptolemy decreed that, and you can read about that in 2 Maccabees 6, 1 to 6. And 6 makes it clear. Verse 6 makes it clear. Anybody call themselves an Israelite, put to death. So what did they do? They started calling themselves Greeks. That's why you see to the Jew and to the Greek, to the Jew and to the Gentile. They started calling themselves Gentiles because that's what they were. Just like a lot of you out there calling yourself Gentiles. That's where you are. Because you learned the way of the heathen. You follow Christmas. You follow Easter, Halloween, all these pagan holidays that they have. I won't say holidays, but they holidays. Because we have holy days. All they did was change the Y to an I, A-E-I-O-U and A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. And they changed that Y of holy day to an I. Call it holidays. I mean, but it's still holidays, really, because the Most High didn't set none of this up. A lot of times you look at you celebrating these holidays, they doing humanized, they call it humanized sacrifices. They sacrificing people on them days and so forth. But you don't know because you don't ask any questions. All you do is just follow suit, bunch of lost sheep, dying day by day. And that's real because of the fact of you're not following the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High and doing what He say do, and what He would have you to do. So He told them, don't go to the Gentiles, don't go to Samaria, northern Israel, enter ye not. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. To who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. I ain't talking to no one else. But to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The kingdom of heaven is to who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. He said, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your person. So you ain't got to take no money, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staffs, for the workman is worthy of his meat. See, the workman, as you doing this work, you're going to be taken care of. Into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy. So when you go to a city, say, where the worthy man at? And there abide till you go thence. And when you come into an house, salute it. If the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. Don't salute that house. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Most High scorched. He made 5 cities crispy, Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, verily I say unto you, truly I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. So they don't receive the truth. They don't want to receive it. Shake the dust of your feet and keep it moving. That's what He's telling them. That's what He told us, so we got to follow today. Luke 10 and 1. Luke the 10th chapter, the first verse. A lot of people are not going to accept it. They say, hey, shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving. Luke 10 and 1. After these things, the master appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before His face into every city and place whither He Himself would come. So He sent 70 out, 2 by 2, to every place that He would come. And there's one with rolling with another brother. 2 by 2, 70 out, 2 by 2 and 2. See? Therefore said He unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. The harvest is great. 1/3 of the children of Israel are going to be redeemed, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the master of the harvest that He would send forth laborers into His harvest. We need laborers to be doing this work. The true laborers that's going to endure unto the end and going to follow the right way and not be led astray. That's what you see that's been brought up in this earth today. These same spirits are these same Israelites coming back. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, the Zealots, the Essenes, those that don't believe anything, you got them too. They call them atheists today. They still Israelites, lost. And the Essenes, those how Mashiach Abishai and the apostles were, and the prophets. Luke 18. Luke 18. And we're going to look at verse 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. You know, I talked about that, how people that have monies or they have, tell you they think gain is righteousness. We read that, right? They figure that they're better than someone that don't have as much as they have because of what they have in their possessions. You understand? So that's why it's saying what it's saying. They're thinking that they're so righteous. They figure they're better than someone else. That's what it says. In Luke 18 and 9, and he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. So they think they're better than everyone. That's like someone saying that if you're not with me, then you ain't dealing with the Most High of Mashiach Yahushua. Or they better. That means they much better than anyone else. Straight up. Listen. 2 men went up into the temple. This is what Mashiach Yahushua said that to pray. They went into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. So one was a Pharisee, and another a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. Most High, I thank thee. This is what the Pharisee is saying to the Most High. I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. He right there with the publican hearing what he's saying. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, Most High, be merciful to me, a sinner. Forgive me, have mercy on me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For every one that exalted himself, listen to this closely, Israel. For every one that exalted himself shall be abased, shall be brought down. And he that humbled himself shall be exalted. See, all that boasting of what you're doing, this, that, and the third, I don't mean nothing to the Most High. And he went to the Most High saying it. They're going to put down the publican as he praying to the Most High. See what the publican, he was so shameful he didn't lift up his head. He said, Most High, be merciful to me, a sinner. Publicans, the Pharisee, he sitting right there before the throne of the Most High, going to the throne of the Most High with sin in his actions. So we're dealing with tithes and offerings, and alms, donations, and so forth. How are we going to live right? The examples that we have. Go to 1 Corinthians 9. 1 Corinthians 9. Verse 1. And am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen the Mashiach Yahushua power? Are not ye my work in the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua, if I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are ye by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior. Mine answer to them that do examine me is this: have ye not power to eat and to drink? Have ye not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of Mashiach Yahushua and Cephas? Or I only and Barnabas have not we power to forbear working, for going a warfare any time at his own charges? Who goeth a warfare at any time at his own charges, on your own, going to war? Who planteth a vineyard and eateth not of the fruit thereof? Or who feedeth a flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock? Say I these things as a man, or said not the law the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Does the Most High take care for oxen? So you ain't supposed to muzzle the ox, so you can reach down and get him something to eat at any time. Do the Most High take care of the oxen? Take care for oxen? Or said he to altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt. This is written, that he that ploweth should plow in hope. You plowing with faith. If the Most High going to bring forth the crop, and that he that treadeth in hope should be partakers of his hope. If we also sown unto you spiritual things, if we give you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? So we're giving you spiritual things. Is it a great thing we shall reap your carnal things in the donations or whatever alms that you can actually provide? He's saying, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things lest we should hinder the gospel of Mashiach Yahushua. Do you not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar, those that minister to the Most High? Even so hath the Most High ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. You got to live it. You got to apply it in your life every day. But I have used none of these things. Neither have I written these things, that it should be so done unto me. For it were better for me to die than that any man should make my glory void. He wrote most of the New Testament. He says it's better to die than let his glory be made void. But though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of. For necessity is laid upon me. Yeah, woe is unto me. Destruction is to me if I preach not the gospel. He said, I'll be destroyed if I preach not the gospel. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. Say, I'm doing this willingly. But if I do it against my will, I don't want to do it. Say, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. That's why it says, woe to him if he preach not the gospel. If he ain't do this work. What is my reward then? Verily, truly that when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Mashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more. So he made himself servant to all the Israelites, that he might gain the more. Listen, and unto the Jews I became as a Jew. Unto those that knew about the Mashiach Yahushua and followed the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, he said he became as them, that I might gain the Jews, they might gain them. This is wisdom. To them that are under the law, see, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. That's to the Israelites that knew they were Israelites, that were following the laws of the Most High. But them that are without law, those Israelites that are without law, as without law, being not without law to the Most High, but under the law to Mashiach. that I might gain them that are without law. He might gain them that are without law. He started fitting in with them that was without law. To the weak became I as weak. So he's around the one that was weak, he became as he was weak, that I might gain the weak. I have made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. See? He's talking about the Israelites only. He ain't talking about no other nation. He ain't talking about no Gentile nation. He's talking about the Israelites only. He said, this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you. See? So, and why would he said, I might, he said, that I might by all means save some. If you think Romans, and this is to the brothers that teach this, Romans 11:26, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away unrighteousness from Jacob. All means a certain number. You gotta look at the initial meanings of these words. All is a certain number. That's why would he pray if he's making a statement as such? If every last Israelite gonna be saved, why are you gonna say here in verse 22 of 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, that I might by all means save some? You don't have to say that if every last Israelite gonna be saved. Every last Israelite not gonna be saved. That's why he said the same thing within that same chapter of Romans, the 11th chapter, when he said in verse 14. He said, and if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. The same thing he said. Because why would he say he's going to save some of them if he's going to say every last Israelite going to be saved? No. You blaspheme the Holy Spirit, that's unforgivable in this world and the world to come. Don't be twisted. Get it right. Matthew 22. Let's look at this scenario of a Mashiach of Messiah dealing while he was in the flesh. Matthew 22, and we're going to start at verse 15. Then went the Pharisees, Matthew 22:15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. So they took counsel how you can catch him up in his speech. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, but thou regardest not the person of men. You know, he didn't have no respect of person, in other words. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute, which is money, unto Caesar, or not? But Mashiach perceived their wickedness, and said, you see them, they done plotted against them. So Mashiach seen their wickedness and said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Call them hypocrites all the time. Show me the tribute money. So he said, show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he said unto them, whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then said he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto the Most High the things that are the Most High's. You know, whatever you got to deal with for Caesar, you give to Caesar. Whatever you got to give to the building of our nation, to them that are building the nation. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. And the same day came The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him. See, that's that Sadducee spirit. They don't believe in the resurrection, regeneration. They don't believe that. Even those that are that's living today, that's that Sadducee spirit. See, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, so a man die, he didn't have any children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. That's the law. If you don't have any children, and your brother was supposed to take your wife and bring forth a child through your wife, and it will be his dead brother's child. Likewise the second also, and the third, unto the 7th. All of them died. At the last of all, the woman died also. So all 7 brothers died, and the woman died. Listen to this. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be? Of the 7. For they all had her. So she had went through all 7 brothers. They all had her. So this is during the time of Mashiach Yahushua. So these brothers probably had their own wife too. They had to take on her as a wife, because that's the law. Say you would bring seed forth from your brother's wife if he died without any seed. So all 7 brothers had her. You mean to tell me all 7 of these brothers didn't have a wife before her? They had, that's the law. They had to take her. He had to take her and try to bring seed forth for his brother. But all 7 died. Now he asked him, whose wife would she be? Therefore, verse 28, therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Listen to what Mashiach said. Mashiach answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, or the power of the Most High. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of the Most High in heaven. So, that let you know what consummates marriage. Sexual intercourse. So he said, hey, they will not be given to sexual intercourse, which consummates the marriage, as the angels in heaven. So how angels